almost midnight here on the East Coast.
In New England.
Our video for tonight is going to be revolving around Disney for night owls. All the tips say go to rope drop, go really early, get up, and you gotta go all day. That is just not for us. And I have a feeling that we're not the only ones. So this is just kind of some tips, some tricks, some things to think about when it comes to doing Disney when you don't want to get there early in the morning and you're looking for things to do late at night. We really think that nighttime at Disney is more exciting. The rides are cooler. There's a lot more lighting that has to be offered, like with Slinky Dog Dash. We think it's more thrilling to go on things like Mine Train and Thunder Mountain and Expedition Everest. So it's just more exciting and it's kind of a different vibe at night. One thing to consider though is you don't get as nice of pictures at night, so make sure that you get most of your pictures during the day, except for the ones that involve those like light features. There's one at Epcot that they're doing right now with some sort of like thing that goes behind you, and we've done the one near the Tangled bathrooms, the one with the lanterns, which is really cool. So that's a nighttime one that you can do. But otherwise, most of them you'll want to do during the day.
Also, a fun tip for nighttime firework viewing. If you don't feel like putting up with a lot of the crowds or trying to shuffle your way through, we really like going on rides and exploring the park during this time. So on our honeymoon, we went to Big Thunder Mountain and we timed it pretty much perfectly, where we went on the coaster, and as we were weaving in and around the track, the fireworks were going off all around us. It was really, really cool to see. And then when we got off of the ride, we ended up hanging out on the bridge right outside of the ride, and you can see everything that happens in back of the fireworks. You're still hearing the music, you're seeing the fireworks from a different angle than you would normally see it. It's just really cool, almost romantic a little bit in a way. It was a lot of fun. Usually, especially in Magic Kingdom, a lot of people tend to leave right after the fireworks. So we like to take those few minutes, recoup a little bit while everyone kind of shuffles out around us, and then you have a little bit more free reign to walk around, especially Main Street, because there tends to be, as everyone knows, a lot of people watching the fireworks. So if you can hang around by Casey's Corner or one of the other shops, you'll have an easier time moving around the park once everyone starts to disperse.
One of our favorite places to kind of sneak off to is go past Crystal Palace and through the little bridge into Adventureland. It's almost always dead. Sometimes you'll catch it on a weird night where the Jungle Cruise is really busy, because a lot of people like to go on the Jungle Cruise at night. The skippers are more punchy because they've been working all day, so they just don't give a crap and are selling some funnier jokes, maybe a little bit more PG, like 10 or something. But so that's the only thing that you might catch over there. But otherwise, it's a pretty solid place to go to after the fireworks. One of the benefits of staying after the park closes as well, specifically in Magic Kingdom, is the Kiss Goodnight. This is just an extra cute little thing that they do on the castle. There's a little voiceover, and it's just telling you to have a nice night and thank you for coming and get home safely and all those cute things. You can find videos of it on other YouTube channels. We stayed and saw it a couple of times while we were there last, and it's just a nice extra little bonus. If you are planning to stay and watch it, we absolutely recommend doing your shopping on Main Street at this time. The shops stay open after the park closes on Main Street. You usually can't get food, but you can definitely shop for your t-shirts and other merchandise. So for those Main Street areas, don't waste your time during the day doing your shopping. If you're gonna be there late at night, go when there's less people, and then you can stay and watch the Kiss Goodnight.
So, a new experience at Disney, or a fairly new experience at Disney, is Disney After Hours. And if you know anything about this, this is basically the park is 100% closed except for people that buy tickets to this event. This is a hard ticket event, so it costs a little less than the price to go to the park during the day. However, the benefit to this is the parks are basically empty.
A few things to keep in mind when you're looking at whether or not this is a good option for you are going to be obviously the cost. If you're paying for an extended multi-day ticket, you're an annual pass holder, or one of those sorts of things, this is going to be more expensive. It's an extra cost. It's not included. It's not instead of one day. So that's one piece. Another is that they do only open certain parts of the park. So they've done this also, like they've done the early morning magic. They've also done the after hours at Toy Story Land. They did the Pandora and Dinoland USA for Animal Kingdom. They've done a Fantasyland one in Magic Kingdom. So I'm sure they'll be coming out with more, and they are offered on different nights, but it's not the entire park that you have. However, it's usually some of those rides that you are going to wait in longer lines for, like Flight of Passage, Slinky Dog Dash, Mine Train, things like that. So I know that we mentioned not staying at the park in the middle of the day, but if you are going to stay, or you're going to be coming in like a little bit later and starting your day around lunchtime, we don't recommend waiting in lines in the middle of the day. If you are a night owl like us, you're gonna wanna wait till later on to wait in those really long lines. Use your time wisely. Make sure that you're going around to some of the shorter wait time rides or those that are inside queues. And at night, you can go to those ones that are outside that might be hotter and those longer lines.
So we ended up actually doing this when we went to Animal Kingdom last. We were monitoring Fast Passes our entire trip to try to get anything for Flight of Passage, and we came up short every single time. But what we decided to do was we went to the park one night fairly close to close, like about an hour before the park closed, and we didn't stop. We booked it straight to Pandora and got in line for Flight of Passage. At that point, they said it was about a 2-hour wait, and at night it kind of went by pretty quickly, and it was definitely not 2 hours. It was
closer to an hour. If you're getting in line, say a few minutes before the park is closing, they will not tell you that you can't get on the ride. So let's say, for example, that Animal Kingdom is closing at 9. If you get in line at 8:50 for Flight of Passage, they're still going to let you get on even if the wait is actually 2 hours, which I have a theory that they actually jack up the wait times so that it discourages people from getting in line, so they're not there until like 3 o'clock in the morning, even though I'm sure they are anyway. But they will let you get on the ride. So you could be there an hour or two past closing and still get on the ride of choice. A little thing about that though, we don't recommend eating dinner in the parks. If you're okay with putting off your dinner time, kind of push back your meals. All of the blogs will tell you, first and foremost, that it's important to not eat during those peak times. But we're going to take that a step further and say you're not even going to eat dinner at all in the park, because you're going to be waiting in those lines at the end of the night, and you're going to have eaten lunch and snacks throughout the day. We want you to kind of load up in the morning, get yourself some snacks through the day, and My lifesaver in waiting in these last minute lines at the end of the night was having fruit snacks and pretzels and a bottle of water in the bag. Just don't drink too much because then you can't get online to use the bathroom. Go to Disney Springs for dinner.
Yeah, we were at Magic Kingdom one night, and we were like, oh, we're really hungry, but we know the park's closing, so there's not a lot of places to eat. And we were like, oh, Chicken Guy is still open in Disney Springs. We'll just head there for the third night in a row. Which we strongly recommend. It's absolutely delicious. Try as many sauces as you can.
After a long day at the park, it's just such good comfort food that's like well made. It's not like you're eating greasy, gross Disney chicken nuggets. Sorry if you like them. They're not that great. Go to Chicken Guy. Take the Disney Springs bus. Not that many people get on it. It's usually you're one of the first people on. And most of the restaurants, if you're not into Chicken Guy, stay open until 11, sometimes 12 o'clock at night. So if the park closes at 9 or 10, you can still make it there in time to grab something. And a lot of them have like those takeout windows too.
A lot of these places that Meg was mentioning also has a lot of entertainment going on at night. It's not just food. So you can go into the Edison, which is one of the newest places in Disney Springs. Sometimes they have live music, sometimes they have burlesque dancers, which is interesting.
Aside from the Edison, which does turn to 21 plus after 10 p.m. to do all those things Evan was talking about, there's also places like Raglan Road, and you can make your way to Chicken Guy, like we said. Morimoto Asia has a late night food option. Also, the House of Blues has a great bar. A lot of the time they have music, live bands and things like that. Even if you're not in the parks for one day and you do want to look for something to do later on at night, maybe you just took an off day to relax, maybe you're doing a Disney staycation and you're not going in the parks at all, Disney Springs is great. You can also go to the movies, which most of the time they have movies playing as late as like 10 o'clock, even 11 on the weekends.
And it's not just Disney movies that play there, it's any movie that's out right now. So you're not just limited to the newest Marvel or Star Wars movie, you can basically see anything there. Also, if you don't want to just sit down and watch a movie and you want to get that sport out of you, you can always go to Splitsville and get some bowling in. They're open till 1 a.m., which is great.
They also have food and drinks there.
Or, if you want to maybe experience something a little different, you can strap on some VR goggles and head down to the Void. That is very cool. It's a fairly new experience at Disney Springs. Right now, they have two experiences that you can take on. The first is Star Wars: Secrets of the Empire, and the newest one is Ralph Breaks VR, obviously based off of the new Disney movie, Ralph Breaks the Internet.
They do some of their last reservations starting at 10:45 on weeknights and 11:15 on Friday and Saturday.
Strongly recommend exploring around Disney Springs to get your late night fix as much as you can.
The crowds aren't as bad, it's not as hot, which we know is a great thing, and there's just a lot more nightlife going on. Another great feature is to look to your resorts. Check their daily calendars. They have a lot of activities that are going on, like movie nights. They'll do s'mores by the fire. They'll always have fireworks viewing if you are at a resort that you're within view of one of the 4 parks. Also, sometimes the pools can be open a little bit later. Usually during the summer, they'll be open later at night, but night swimming is always really fun. I'm sure a lot of the resorts have some late night dining options, but when we were staying at the Polynesian, we went to Kona Cafe after we got out of Magic Kingdom one night. They were open, I can't remember until what time, but it was obviously right after the park was closing. So we were able to snag like a really late reservation while we were on the bus back to the hotel. So we highly recommend just seeing what your resort has to offer for food too. If you want to just kind of eat something, grab something quick, and head back to your room. Another thing that's a little bit more specialized, so you might need to take a little side trip to do this unless you're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, is one of the nighttime safaris. We are hoping that we can check this out sometime soon. It looks awesome. I've heard great things, but they have those going on at 8:30 and 10 as of right now. So again, great options for something that's really unique to experience later on at night.
If you want to have a little bit more of a Disney experience at a bar, we highly recommend checking out Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. It was so much fun being there. Depending what drink you order, a lot of the scenery will change around you. The staff gets kind of loud and they make jokes the whole time. They have some joke stools that you might be sitting in. If you are, I'm not going to spoil it for you as to what happens. But
Also, so while you're there, you're gonna absolutely love what they're saying. You'll start to catch on to the different chants, and I find that a lot of times you just end up ordering a drink because you know that they're gonna have to say or do something really cool. So definitely check those out. You do have to usually get on a wait list to enter. So they're open until about 12:30, but I still recommend getting there a little bit earlier, so that way you do have a bit of a buffer so that you have time to get in there. Some other bars that you might want to check out are the ones in the boardwalk area. Some of them do close a little bit earlier. Abracadab bar closes around 10:30, it looks like, but Jelly Rolls stays open until 3 a.m. I was shocked to find that out. We have never been, but we've heard awesome things. I think we might pop in there on our next trip, but the list just keeps on going as to what we want to do while we're there. So who knows, but definitely check it out if you're looking for something super duper late night. So maybe you've been going to the other bars, maybe you went to Disney Springs, then you can go to Jelly Rolls, kind of to top off your night.
so also something to be prepared for when you're being late night at the parks or being a night owl around Disney. Always be prepared that the monorails or the buses may not be operating the way that they normally are during the day, or at least during those peak hours. So you tend to wait a little bit longer, or sometimes the buses get changed around. We definitely recommend taking a Lyft or an Uber around. We took a Lyft a few times leaving resorts or going to and from Universal.
Yeah, speaking of Universal, another great place to check out some restaurants and bars is City Walk. They have a lot of great offerings too, if you're not wanting to stay directly on Disney property or willing to venture off. In fact, check out the rest of Orlando. They've got outlets, they've got all sorts of different malls, tons of local restaurants. So you don't have to stay on Disney property if you're willing to take a Lyft, Uber, or if you have a car rented.
And the last piece we want to offer you is if you don't feel like going out, hanging at the parks, going to a bar, going to Disney Springs, or anything else we previously mentioned, just hang out in your hotel room and watch Mickey cartoons. They are always on a loop, and they are absolutely fantastic. We spent several hours watching them on our last trip, to the point where we came home and downloaded Disney Now just so we could watch them at home. They're really funny. They're a nice way just to kind of end your night or even just get your night started. So definitely, if you don't feel like going out, you have options right in your hotel room.
Or if you are getting back from the parks, they keep it on a loop until really, really late at night. So check them out when you're getting back to your hotel from the park. Even if it's 11 o'clock at night and you're not quite tired yet, check out the cartoons. It's keeping with the Disney spirit, and it gives you something to do right in your room. Don't have to go anywhere. Don't have to spend any extra money. It's just a little fun, something extra.
So if you guys have any extra tips for us maybe that we're not mentioning here, make sure to comment down below.
Are you a night owl? Give the video a like, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit the bell icon once you do subscribe so that way you get notifications when our new videos are up. Also make sure to follow us on Instagram. It's all one word, Home Away from Disney. We post pretty frequently throughout the week. Check out our stories. We've got everything from breaking news to more tips and things to incorporate around in the house, pictures from our Disney trips, and just fun to get to know us a little bit more.
Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Good night.
Sweet dreams.